Good morning. So it's a lovely crisp Saturday morning here at Urban Yoke. We are at second day of our level 4 lockdown in South Africa. So I'm not entirely sure what that means, but some things are more available now. We know that. Right, so I just wanted to take you around today, show you what we've done to our little garden. So so level 4 lockdown, fun times. For those of you who are watching this in the future, it's just being filmed during the virus time. So that's why we're speaking about lockdowns. But first things first, so we gotta go feed the quails. So come with me. Hey, seafood. Buongiorno, Qualitine. Really messed your water up last night, eh? Qualitine.
Hip hop is a way of life, a way of thinking.
Now that everyone has been fed and let out to go and do their Saturday playtime, we can get into the garden and I can show you exactly what we've done. Bear in mind that it is a small garden. We've only been here since January, so there is not much in this garden. Plus we're going into winter at the moment. We are in South Africa. Our winters are not, snowy and negative degrees, but temperatures do drop quite a bit. And it does get kind of icy in the wind, but during the day it's generally low to mid 20s. That's degrees in Celsius. I'm not sure what it is in Fahrenheit. Yeah, so without further ado, let's go check it out. So this is our main garden area, what will eventually become a total herb patch. This is our little entrance. Shawl put this together with things he found around the property, which is really awesome. So we got a little bit of de-weeding to do, but we leave most of the clovers as a ground cover. So we've got our sweet basil that's still going, some flowers and zinnias growing. These are two different thyme patches that are going to take over this whole block eventually. They've grown quite a bit since we got them in January. They were probably about half the size. And we've got Chinese cabbage and sweet basil kind of scattered throughout everywhere. So we follow a little path. And then we've got some chamomile coming up in between as well. Oregano bush that is climbing. This is our Turkish eggplants. Beautiful orange color. They taste really good, just like a normal eggplant with a slight kind of pumpkin sweetness. Very, 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 very good. Definitely growing more of those soon. And this is our camphor basil bush. Gotten out of hand, to say the least, as it's drowning our poor pineapple sage. So we definitely will be cutting that back today. Oh, tarragon! I'm just really excited because I haven't had the opportunity to grow tarragon before, and buying it in the shops where we are can be quite difficult. And we've got our massive lemongrass that we need to do some work on. Boom, and then it goes in right into the middle here where we have the quail pen. So this is just like a little front section with a bit of extra shade and a bit of extra support or covering in case there is rain and hail. And at the back is where we were earlier, where they mostly spend their time and like to play. In this patch we've been growing sorghum and Cape gooseberries. Cape gooseberry is flowering a lot at the moment, so I'm excited about that. In the back there we have a giant sunflower that's still growing, even though this isn't exactly the time of year for them, but I'm very excited about that. Franklin in the background. So we've got a few things here. We've got some garlic and radishes and malva growing in this little patch here. We've left the clovers to help as a cover crop to amend the soil. So you can see there's lots of clovers around. And unfortunately one of our cats lay on the garlic, so a few of them are bent. And then we'll go over into this section. Here, as you can see, we've got tomatoes coming up. So Shal put this little rig together super quick just for these plants, and then we'll fix it up after these plants are done. There's about 20 tomato plants just came up voluntarily, and we're allowing them to grow. See if they fruit. If they do, then canning is in order. Let's move over. So this is one of the tomatoes that came up voluntarily. See, it's growing quite a bit. I think it has 11 tomatoes on it at the moment. No idea what they are. They are seedlings from, or seeds from previous people who lived here. So we shall see. Yeah, so it's exciting. It's exciting. Over here, we're growing some kale and some more cabbage. This is the first time that we're growing kale, so I'm very excited about it. I got these seeds from my nonni, my grandparents. They love it. Cavolo nero con la salsiccia, buonissimo. And yeah, lettuce. You can see lots of clovers. It's really helped the soil. And again, some more cabbage. That's our lavender bush cabbage. Very exciting. This side we have another sunflower with a voluntary mustard green that looks like it needs to come out. Rosemary and our lemon verbena, also a first time grow and loving using it in the kitchen. Nice. Thank you. So this little quail over here, this white one, all of them all of them, but this white one quite specifically, she survived having a chunk of her breast ripped out. So we think what's it called now? Oh, the Janet cat. We think a Janet cat actually went after her. They go into their little coopy. We think a Janet cat went after them and tried to get into the cage, and it got some of them on the head, but her it managed to rip out a piece. And yeah, the few weeks of taking care of her, she survived and she's walking just fine. I'm very, very, very happy about that. Cool, let's move over. So that's our Hey Luna.
To become secure, I have to have value.
Little garden.
I want to be worth something. I want to be worth enough to attract the attention of others.
So over here we have our 3 pyramids. So that one over there has got yellow pear tomatoes growing on. This one has San Marzano tomatoes and 1 volunteer. And here we have peas and 1 volunteer tomato, which is very exciting. Whoop. You can see the pea is kind of reaching its end now. Take a step back and then you can see it. See? So these are our little pyramids. And in between we've got different mallow plants growing. Very exciting. So over here is another volunteer. No idea what tomato this is. I am very excited for them to ripen. If you have an idea, please let me know. Here we have the first of our San Marzano growing. I'm very excited. Probably my favorite tomato in all the land. Or I don't know. These yellow pears are pretty close. Got a whole bunch of them growing, which is very exciting.
My true self, my fake self, what is it that I am?
This tomato over here, this plant, got a bit stunted, and now it's making these massive fruit. It's supposed to be half the size normally, but it's still chugging along, so we let it do. Our peas are still going. Definitely want to grow more peas for the next season. Now it's mostly just growing as a snack for us. Hello Sadie. Hey. I'm gonna say hello to the camera. You're just gonna give us the butts. Sadles? Sadles. This is Sadie. Hey. We actually found her in the stable here. Shame. Over here we've got our tomatoes, our potatoes. And I haven't grown them like this exactly before. But we've had a little bit of access to the tire. So this is like an experiment of ours. And they should be ready fairly soon because, well, going into winter and we'll need to take this down and prep for spring. Oh. And then over on this side, if you had seen a previous video of ours, you will have seen that we put in a grey water system. So that's what that hole is. It's where the grey water empties out to, and we also fill it up with, you know, fresh cuttings from the garden, as well as some food scraps when they don't go into our food tube. And what coincidentally happened was a whole bunch of plants started growing. So what we actually put in ourselves was this turmeric over here, which has been growing really well and happy, starting to do its dieback for winter, as well as this banana plant. Bananas really love grey water. They love a lot of water and they love to soak up all of those juices and nutrients. and this is a really great way of keeping them in a nice recyclable system. So then, well, we had planted 3, the one died. The one at the back there seems like it might bounce back, but I have my doubts. This one, however, took beautifully, and we only really need 1. It should make babies in the future. Then we have our volunteer Turk's turban. You can see there on the tree, there's one busy growing. The plant has died back quite a bit already, so we are just waiting for the last of the pumpkins to mature, and then we're going to pull this out. Went all the way around the tree. How amazing is that? Behind it we have some gem squash growing, that's just growing up this bird netting. I really love gem squash. They taste good, they're a good snack, easy thing to make when you don't have a lot of time. But I've started calling Charles roses because he really started taking care of these rose bushes when we moved in, and I think it's evident that he's doing a really good job. Oh, and we can walk over here. So there is stuff happening here, it just doesn't look like it. In the back we have a passion fruit or granadilla plant that is busy growing, and we hope that it will grow up here and then cover the razor wire that we've got going around. Sorry, that was the washing line. I think it will look beautiful, and it will also help with monkey invasions. And we have one lemon tree. I'm not sure, this could be the one with the rough skin, but yeah, so we have a lemon tree here, and we have tobacco seedlings as well, African tobacco seedlings. We're not growing these for tobacco, they're to help with pest management. We have a little chard that's coming up and a few chilies, but this whole block is mostly planted with zinnias and marigolds, which will be coming up, you know, over the next few months as they desire. And in between we have a few chili plants growing. These were also volunteers that we've just spread around the garden, hoping that they will last the winter. Check these beautiful flowers. Can't wait for more of these in springtime. And a personal favorite, our frangipani. Absolutely gorgeous. They can get much bigger than this. Beautiful flowers. And ours has seed pods. Very excited about that. I don't think I've grown a frangie that's made seed pods before, so it's very cool. At the bottom we've got the everything aloe growing. So when I've got a burn or something, I just nick off one of these leaves and use the gel on the inside to help with the burn or sting from an animal, and it works really well. Cool, so that was the front garden. Like I said, a small place. Let me go show you the back garden. And this is where we've done most of the work to set up new beds, so there's not a lot happening, but we're preparing for spring. So our idea is to essentially just have some cover crops to help the soil, then re-amend with compost in spring and plant. Very excited about this. Our previous place was a bit of a nightmare in terms of growing plants, especially with monkeys. And here the monkeys are an issue, but at least the space is a little bit more manageable, so I feel like we're getting more out of it than what we were before. We shall see. So without further ado, yet again, let me show you the back garden. Cool, so we come in here and the first thing we see is this lovely bed. Yeah. We must have put this in a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And we only have flax seeds growing here. So this will become an entire flaxseed patch that we'll leave to continuously reseed, essentially. Using the straw from the flax as bedding for our quails. As flax is where linen is from, we will process it somewhat and then use it for bedding for the quails. I think it'll be nice and soft and warm and make them really happy. When we get to this bed over here, there is a great deal going on. This bed was established before we came in and was used for mostly pumpkins and squashes. So we do actually have some volunteer squash plants coming up, but also we have some volunteer sweet potatoes, as well as some eggplants. Oh, these must come out. And chilies, can you believe it or not? There are quite a few chilies coming up. They look crazy stunted because it is of course winter, but I've left the chilies and eggplants to grow in here. The only thing I've done is separate them out so they can grow a bit better. And we'll have to clear some more of these clovers out so they can have better opportunity to grow. Hello, Moonbuns. This is Mooncake. Hello, how are you? Oh, she's a little over a year old now. And probably one of our best hunters. Hey, you protect the house from rodents. Yes, I do. Beautiful girl. Bit of a sassy one, but she's awesome. Protects the beds, which is very helpful. And on this side, just under our window. So this bed is supposed to be for just beans, but we do have a few onions and some dill seedlings coming up in between. On the end over there, we've got mung beans growing, some of the Star 2000 bush bean, green beans, and these black-eyed peas as well, the cow peas. And that's a little fennel coming up, a little heart fennel. The sticks are here because of our cats. Now, I want you to know that nothing deters a cat from getting into a bed unless it's covered. The sticks are here to stop them from digging up the seedlings when they do go in there. So it's basically just to deter them. They don't have to stay very long, but it's the only thing that works with our 5 cats at the moment. Last but not least, this bed that we did a few days ago with the cardboard and all that underneath it, and we wanted a cover crop just to get it ready for springtime. Cats, however, decided that bringing the cardboard up to the top was probably for the best, so they could chew it, of course. But here we'll probably just have a few turnips coming up and then let it cover crop with some clovers or something until springtime comes. What I also wanted to show you is this awesome avocado tree that we've got going here. So it's not really another bed, but what we've done is planted a few flowers, mostly zinnias, and there's some volunteer plants coming up. Like this is an edible, wild salad lettuce, essentially, like a dandelion. And there's also some volunteer sweet basil coming up in this spot. I think that's quite darling. These are so cool. And I really, really love the pink on this one. On this one. And this color is just insane on a flower. Right? I just love it. So that's our way of just keeping the ground nice and moist, nice and covered with this awesome avocado tree. Alright guys, so that is where we are at the moment. Not too much going on, like I said, but we have a few things going on in the garden. Mostly focusing on prepping things so that they last and hold throughout the winter. So when spring comes around, it's a lot easier just to take off from there and get things going. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them down below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for coming on this journey with me today, and I hope you have a lovely weekend further and a lovely week ahead. Goodbye.